Week 14 of the NFL season begins on Thursday with a great Thursday night matchup between the Saints and the Falcons. And then on Sunday, Seahawks and Jaguars in Jacksonville. Two 8-4 teams will be battling it out. And then the Eagles stay out west to play another NFC West team as they will be playing the Los Angeles Rams in LA. And then the Ravens Steelers will play on Sunday night, and the Patriots and Dolphins will be playing on Monday Night Football next week. And the New England Patriots will be without Rob Gronkowski. The Steelers will be also without Juju Smith-Schuster, as both players have been suspended one game for their actions this past week. I'll get to that here in a minute when I recap the games. 7-3 last week. Week 13. Season's dwindling down. Only got a couple more weeks, and then the playoffs will be starting about a month away now. Today's December 5th. The first is on a Monday, so the 6th would be that Saturday, and we'll have two wild card games that day, followed by two more wild card games the next day, the 7th, and then the divisional round, the conference championship round, and then 2 weeks after that, with the Pro Bowl in between, you'll have Super Bowl 52 from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 7-3 week 13, 79-49 on the year. Games I lost, I would have lost the Eagles game, the Patriots Bills, and the Vikings and Falcons. I picked the Falcons over the Vikings, I picked the Bills over the Patriots, and I picked the Eagles over the Seahawks. The other teams that were playing in that game ended up winning, obviously. So I'll run through the games. Last Thursday night, Cowboys defeated the Redskins 38-14. Vikings defeated the Falcons 14-9. The Jets defeated the Chiefs 38-31. That game was hilarious at the end of the game. Marcus Peters ended up throwing the damn flag into the crowd. That was hilarious. The Ravens defeated the Lions, and then he didn't even get ejected, and he left the field and went in the locker room. And then he came back out. They didn't play him, but I just thought that was hilarious. And now the Chiefs have lost 6 of their last 7 games after starting 5-0. Currently sitting at 6-6, tied atop the AFC West with the Oakland Raiders, who they play this week, and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Broncos, they've been playing like shit all year. They're 3-9. The Ravens defeated the Lions in Baltimore 44-20. Patriots defeated the Bills 23-3. Gronkowski suspended. They're saying a WWE move on him? Do a little elbow drop to Tre'Davious White. Got a 15-yard penalty for it. Don't think he got ejected, but now he's been being suspended by the NFL for their next game. He did appeal, got denied, so he will sit out this upcoming game against the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. And if I were the Patriots, I'd rather have him sit out against the Dolphins than the Steelers, who they play the following week in Pittsburgh. So Gronk is going to be suspended one game, as Juju Smith-Schuster is as well. I'll get to the Steelers-Bengals Monday night matchup here in a second. The Saints defeated the Panthers 31-21 on Sunday afternoon. The Rams defeated the Cardinals 32-16. Rams have broken the drought of the longest seasons for the longest time without having a winning record, and that goes back to 2003. Sean McVay would have been 18 years old. Their head coach, Sean McVay, currently 31 years old, would have been 18 years old the last time the Rams had a winning season. First-year head coach has broken that drought. Raiders defeated the Eli Manning-less Giants 24-17, and now Eli will be starting against the Cowboys this upcoming week. Giants fired GM and head coach Ben McAdoo. He's a central Pennsylvania native, I believe. Grew up in, I believe, Homer City down there around Indiana, Pennsylvania. He's a better coordinator assistant than he is head coach. We obviously saw that. He was a good coordinator, good assistant with the 49ers, Packers, and then as the offense coordinator for the Giants, and then got the head coaching job after the Giants fired Tom Coughlin, who won them 2 Super Bowls. And that's the thing, the whole benching with Eli. He's won the team, the franchise, 2 Super Bowls, and you bench him for Geno fucking Smith. But they did. They ended up losing, and now Eli's going to be back. Giants, first team to fire a head coach this year, so the Giants will be looking for a head coach. A lot of people are saying they should go after Josh McDaniels. I don't think they should, just because he didn't have success as a head coach when he was in Denver. He did have Tebow. They didn't make the playoffs to beat the Steelers that year, but he's a better assistant than he is head coach as well. So I don't think they want to make the same mistake again. So I think they should stay away from Josh McDaniels. Jim Bob Cooter's a name I think you should keep an eye out for. He's a guy, hot up and coming assistant in football. His name has been tied to a lot of jobs. He's turned them down to stay with the Detroit Lions as an assistant. So I think they should go after Jim Bob Cooter, the Giants. We'll see what they do though. They need offense, but they did have a lot of injuries this year. Their defense really has gone down in the past couple years, and that's why they haven't made the playoffs since they won Super Bowl 46, I believe. I don't think they've been to the playoffs since then. And that's been going on 7 years now. So something's got to give. Something's got to change. And then Sunday night, the Seahawks defeated the 10-1 Eagles 24-10. So the Eagles, Steelers, and Patriots are all now 10-2. And then the Steelers are 10-2 because they defeated the Bengals on Monday Night Football on another game-winning field goal off of Chris Boswell's toe for the second straight week. Defeated the Packers at home last Sunday night, defeated on a Boswell game-winning field goal, and now on Monday night when they defeated the Bengals 23-20. Their game got chippy. It was a hard-nosed football game though, but the Steelers came away with a win. Prayers go out to Ryan Shazier. He's still in the hospital. Hopefully he's not paralyzed, as that would be a huge loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the NFL. He's one hell of a player. Hopefully, hope to God he is not paralyzed. Shazier got he was just making a tackle, and it just his back gave out, and like I said, hopefully he's not paralyzed. Hopefully he's doing better than when he was when it all happened. And then Juju Smith-Schuster got back, and it was a clean block, I think. It was a good block on Vontaze Burfict, who really has he's probably one of the dirtiest players in the NFL at the moment. And the whole thing with him lying there on the ground needing to get taken off the field in a cart was bullshit. He grabbed at Juju Smith-Schuster's leg after it happened, and then he laid there, So it is what it is. Smith-Schuster got revenge for the Steelers, and a lot of fans like that hit, including me. So Steelers defeated the Bengals. Basically, I think locked up the AFC North. They're 10-2. They play Baltimore one more time. If they beat them, they would have beaten Ravens twice, the Bengals twice, and then they have to play the Browns at the end of the year. But if you remember, or if you don't know, you don't watch football, or if you've been sleeping underneath a rock, the Cleveland Browns are winless. They're 0-12 right now, and the Steelers already beat them once in Cleveland this year. Play them last game of the season in Pittsburgh, and if they win next week against Baltimore, they've got it locked up. Because like I said, they would have beat Baltimore twice, Cincinnati twice, and then the Browns are the Browns. So basically now it's just you got to get home field for the playoffs, and they can do that by beating the Patriots and then not losing to either the Browns or whoever else they play after that. Because there will be one game in between that Patriots and Browns game. Don't know off the top of my head who it is, but it'd be nice if Pittsburgh can get home field, not have to go to New England in the playoffs if they have to play the Patriots again in the playoffs. So basically that's what they're looking at. But they got to beat Baltimore and New England in back-to-back weeks. And this upcoming week, Steelers play the Ravens on Sunday night. This will be the Steelers, I believe, 6th out of the last 7 games they've played in prime time. The one game that they didn't would have been the game that they played in Indianapolis against the Colts, that they also won on a game-winning field goal by Chris Boswell. So circle back around, and Chris Boswell, maybe best kicker in the NFL right now. Maybe best clutch kicker in the NFL right now. Biggest upset, Seagulls. The Seahawks over the Eagles. Jesus Christ, Luke. Seahawks over the Eagles. Just because the Eagles are going on the road, 10-1, best team in football, and then the Seahawks beat them. So big upset there. Best game, Chiefs and Jets, especially late. As I said earlier, that game was funny. So got a little hilarious there when Marcus Peters threw that flag, the ref's flag, into the stands. I mean, that's uncalled for, but I thought it was just hilarious. It was funny. Impressed the Cowboys, got back to their winning ways, defeated the Redskins on Thursday Night Football, and then the Chiefs and the Eagles both disappointed. More so the Chiefs because they've lost 6 of their last 7 after starting 5-0, and now have to, basically win out to win the division. And potentially, I don't even know if they, make the playoffs. Right now, they're the leader in the AFC West, even though it's 3 teams are 6-6. They had the tiebreaker. So that's why they're still atop the AFC West, but we'll see what happens. You just got to let the games play out. So those 2 teams disappointed. Games this upcoming weekend. Great Thursday night game, great Sunday night game, and then Monday night game's all right. Start with Thursday night, and then you also got the game on Sunday afternoon, like you do every week. So Thursday night, Saints, Falcons. Falcons, I thought they were better than the Vikings. They weren't. They lost. They somewhat disappointed me as well. I can't pick them again this early, that close to that game. The Saints, they got back to their winning ways last week. Defeated the Panthers after losing to the Rams, who snapped their 8-game winning streak. So, as I said last week, I'd rather lose now than in the playoffs anyway. So, I'm going to pick the Saints, though, on Thursday night. Should be a shootout. Both offenses are high-powered. Vikings, then, I can't pick against them now, as they proved me wrong last week when they defeated the team I picked, the Atlanta Falcons. So I got to pick the Vikings over the Panthers. Vikings are going on the road to an NFC South team for the 2nd week in a row. Raiders then go to Kansas City, and I think Oakland's going to win. I think Kansas City's season is over. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. We'll see. City ought to let the games play out, but I don't think Kansas City is going to be making the playoffs. You just can't lose 6 of your last 7 and expect to, still be first in your division. But because the AFC West sucks this year, they still are. And, it is what it is. Raiders, I think, will win. Cowboys, Giants. Cowboys got back to their winning ways. Giants finally fired McAdoo, getting Eli back. He'll start another streak of consecutive games started. And I think the Giants spoil the Cowboys' hopes of also getting into the playoffs, because the Cowboys got to win because Ezekiel Elliott is going to be coming back here soon from his suspension, and hopefully Dallas Cowboy fans and the Dallas Cowboys are hoping they're still in playoff contention when he comes back, as are also the Green Bay Packers when Aaron Rodgers could potentially come back from his injury, his broken collarbone and his throwing shoulder. So Giants, I think, win. Game is always close, always. Expect another close game, 13-10. Giants over the Cowboys. Titans, Cardinals. Tennessee goes to Phoenix, Glendale, Arizona to play the Cardinals. I was debating on going to the Fiesta Bowl as I was debating on going to the Rose Bowl last year. I don't think I'm going to the Fiesta Bowl, as that game was also played in University of Phoenix Stadium, where the Arizona Cardinals play at. But anyways, Titans, I think are the better team. Cardinals' season is basically over too. Huge disappointment this year. They did lose Carson Palmer. Is that a reason why? I don't know. But Palmer's getting up there in age. They should really, really look, if Bruce Arians is going to be the head coach, they should really, really look this draft coming up at drafting a quarterback in the first round. Redskins then go out west to play the LA Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to win. They're 6-6. They're probably the hottest team in the NFL right now in football. Especially after they defeated the Cowboys. Huge. A big win on Thanksgiving. I think the Chargers potentially could win the AFC West and make the playoffs after starting 0-4. We'll see. Seahawks then go to Jacksonville. Both teams are 8-4. Seattle's coming across the country. Game's at 4:25, so they're not playing a 1 o'clock game. Would be 10 o'clock their time. Jacksonville, though, I think still gets it done. They're also one of the hottest teams in football right now, especially their defense. Jacksonville pulls out the win. Eagles then stay out west, as I said, to play the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win. Better to lose now than later. I think the Eagles will go maybe 2-3 game slump and then get back to their winning ways, potentially go to the NFC Championship game, and potentially go to Super Bowl 52. I'd really, really like to see a Pennsylvania Super Bowl, as came close for Super Bowl 39, but Pittsburgh ended up losing to New England, and then New England ended up beating Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 39 down in Jacksonville back in, I believe that was the 2004 season, so it would have been February of 2005. But Eagles lose again, get in a slump, win in the playoffs, and potentially go to the Super Bowl. Better to lose now than later. Ravens, Steelers. Steelers, I think, will win. Sunday night game. Crowd's going to be in it. The Steelers playing, as I said, 6 of their last 7 games have been primetime games. Another primetime game. Another Sunday night game for the second time in 3 weeks in Pittsburgh. So crowd will be into it. Pittsburgh beats Baltimore Sunday night. And then New England defeats Miami, I think, on Monday Night Football. I think losing Gronk for a game is going to hurt. Belichick will have some type of plan, though, and I think New England gets the job done. As I said earlier, it's better to lose Gronk for a game against the Dolphins than a game that really has a lot of potential on who's going to get home field in the playoffs when they play Pittsburgh in week 15 on December 17th. So those are my week 14 NFL predictions. Hopefully you enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Go check out Across the Goal Line on all social media. The links are down in the description below. Go check out my week 15 Army-Navy college football predictions. Also got some Heisman predictions in there as well. And then another update on the coaching carousel in the world of college football. So go check that out. Also debating at the moment on whether or not to make a video on my reason why I think the college football playoff should expand. So we'll see if I do that. If I don't, and you want to hear why, I did talk about it a little bit at the end of the college football video. So go check that out, and you can also tweet at me and ask me why I think the playoffs should expand. I think I have some good points, but who knows if I'll make a video or not. We'll see. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I will see everybody next week.